What's up everyone, Alex here. Let's talk very quickly about the power of asking for things. Now, I think a lot of us have an issue when it comes to being brazen enough to ask other people for things. And by being reticent around the need to ask, being unassertive about asking for things can create trouble for us, I think. We feel that we're rocking the boat. We've been socially conditioned to not ask for things, to stay humble, to focus on giving, to focus on serving others, which is fantastic. But I think not enough light is shed on the need to ultimately, once you've certainly been giving a certain amount to other people, that's really where you want to start. You want to be giving plenty, but you also want to be factoring in the need to ask for things. Byron Katie, the spiritual guru, once said that you can have anything you want in life if you are willing to ask 1,000 people for it. And that really sheds light on the idea that it is a numbers game ultimately. You want to be a force in the world. You want to be a giving force, but ultimately you're not going to get much back. People love to be given things, but often they need to be reminded that you exist and that you are looking for things for yourself assertively, right? So you want to be not only out there in the world doing stuff and being seen and being heard and giving and serving and operating from an abundance mindset, which involves you giving lots of stuff, but you also ultimately want to ask. You want to ask, and you want to ask big. So this starts with having big objectives, big dreams, and a clear understanding of your own value. You have to have real belief in yourself. You have to have big aims for yourself so that you're in alignment with your full potential. But you also need to be asking, and asking big, ideally. So this is a really important feature of anyone's life, no matter what you want in life, relationships, you're trying to expand your business, but particularly for people who are working on projects that require people's attention, working on things that require new customers, new clients. You want to be giving, you want to be serving, you want to be thinking about how best to improve the lives of other people through the product, but also through just general interaction with people, yes. But don't forget the power of ultimately asking for stuff. If you're giving a lot in life, you want to be asking for things. So a quick story about my personal assistant, who is probably watching this, who had a bit of a difficult period recently where she lost a couple of clients. So she had me as her sole client for a while, and obviously her income was down, and she was kind of knocked back by that a little bit, and she was suffering through that. And she spent a few months working on my stuff without and serving me and giving me and being very useful. And she's been a brilliant service provider for the last couple of years, and she's been giving me above and beyond what I even expected of her. So she's been fantastic, but she didn't ask for my support soon enough. She could have asked for my help in getting recommendations for her and finding new clients for her, and it took her a few months in a little bit of suffering before she asked me, before she was assertive enough to ask me to help her out. And I within a week managed to help her get hooked up with a client who's now making up that shortfall that she lost through the business. So it really goes to show that, especially when you have been of service to someone, especially when you have already been giving plenty, that you need to ultimately have the courage to ask for things, because only then is that realization in me, the recipient of the asking, only then am I going to say, yes, actually you do have a lot of value, and I can see that you deserve my support, especially by having spoken it into existence, right? By asking for things, you're kind of speaking your own value, you're speaking your self-respect into existence. I know that's kind of putting it in a slightly spiritual woo-woo way, which is all right, but I mean, think of it in that sense. Like, asking doesn't have to be a take thing. I think a lot of people shy away from asking for stuff because it feels like we're kind of grabbing, and it feels like we're being manipulative. Asking in terms of like the sale, asking for things, asking for money, asking for help, kind of feels as though we're putting ourselves down, we're putting ourselves in a weak position. That's why people shy away from it. And the better way to think about that is, well, first of all, give as much as you can before you ask people for things, but I wouldn't let that put you off asking complete strangers for things either. You might as well mix things up a bit and be bold, be assertive, ask for stuff more, and you'll get more things. But also think about asking in terms of it being an act of giving. The very act of asking for something kind of validates the fact that you have something to give, right? So say if you're asking for a referral to a new client. It's basically saying, look, I have value here. I believe in myself. I need you to support me in a collaborative way so that I can bring value to other people ultimately, right? If you're asking for, I mean, I guess asking for anything is effectively, and I'm trying to make sense of this, and I think you can see where I'm coming from. When you ask for something, you are elevating yourself to someone who is worthy of the ask, right? So think about that. Just think about Byron Katie's quote. Think about the idea that you can give all you want in life, and that will be very helpful for other people. But very few people will act on your generosity alone. There needs to be a closing of the loop, at least temporarily, in the fact that you're asking for stuff. And this comes down to, this is very significant for people who have their own businesses, for people who are freelancers. You want to be spending a lot of time serving, but you want to be seeing the fruits of that service as well by being assertive, by asking for things. And if you put in enough asks through the week, whether that be asking for a sale, asking for a referral, asking for business, asking for help, asking for mentorship, you will probably get many people saying, sorry, I can't do that right now, or I can't find a good match for you right now. That's fine. That's part of the whole process. You have to get used to the idea that people are going to reject your suggestion. It's not about rejecting you. It's about them rejecting the suggestion. It's about them rejecting the ask. And that's fine. Every no you get is a kind of contribution. It's a step along the way towards that yes. And the more asks you make, the more yeses you're going to get ultimately. And you want a life filled with yeses. You want a life filled with winning, with momentum, with success, because that is going to create more energy in you to improve your own value, to be of more service to the world, to be able to give more. Right, so you can see that kind of interplay between giving and asking. You can't ask without giving, and you can't give without asking. So make sure both of those things are in play. Don't be lopsided with just the giving, and don't not have either of them in your life. A lot of people don't have either of those things. They keep things to themselves, they don't give, they don't ask, so they don't get anything. And also the world doesn't stand to benefit from what they can give as well. So give, ask, give. Make sure those two things feature very, very in a big way in your life, no matter what you're up to, no matter what projects you're working on. Maybe you're bringing new inventions or art or apps or software into the world. Think in terms of giving lots, think in terms of asking lots, and be abundant in that thinking. Don't think scarce. Scarcity mentality means that there's not enough to go around, and it means that you're not going to ask because you, A, don't assume that there's going to be anything at the other end of the ask, and B, you feel that there's nothing that you can give when people agree to what you've asked for. So think big, understand your value, know that by asking you are kind of in effect extending the giving you've been giving. In most cases, I would say in all cases, if you ask for something and you've certainly been giving, then people are going to, more often than not, realize your value just in the wrapped up into the ask, wrapped up into the fact that you've been assertive. And don't forget that when you ask for things, you're also setting an example for the rest of the world to get off their asses and ask too. Nothing really happens in the world unless people ask for things. Asking means, can we take things to the next level in a way that is beneficial for both of us? It's not about a one-sided deal. It's a win-win. Think win-win, think ask, and give plenty. Hope that made sense, guys. If you've got any questions about that, write them down in the comment section below, and do subscribe if you like this. See you in the next video.